Back. Look at us.
Ah, look at us.
Now look at us. I don't know how good that song was, so ignore all of that. I'm trying to get my life together. How is everyone today? We took a hiatus on Friday. I couldn't do it. This is what happens when you commit to something and you um, have a business, then life just takes over.
Life starts lifing.
Life started lifing, yes. And I was in rare form, so I don't really think y'all really wanted to see me.
So what we really was doing was a favor for you, and you're welcome.
You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it because it was all bad. So hopefully, whether we got some people in here or not, I guess this is we about to go ahead and do this.
That's what we about
Um,
to do.
all right. Are you ready? Are you ready, Freddie?
Is you ready?
All
You know
right.
I'm ready.
So,
Whole squad ready.
all right. So today we are talking about ladder climbing. So the ladder to building, what does that look like? What is the reproduction shift? How can you make many, many, many more of you in the process of, and maybe not many more of you, but because I don't know if the world needs more Keishas. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone. There's we're grateful for the Keisha that we got.
I mean, you can use about three more, right?
Oh, I can handle it.
You can handle it. So it says,
Oh no.
if you sing farther than others, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. If
Love that
I
quote by
have
Isaac
seen,
Newton.
oh, look at you knowing who that is. You fancy. Oh my goodness. So when you reflect on your leadership career, have you been more of a ladder climber or a ladder builder?
Ladder climber or a ladder builder? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is interesting. A ladder climber or a ladder builder?
What about you? Where have you seen yourself?
Oh, let's see. I think it changed. I think in the beginning, well, no, that's a lie. Um, I was just about to tell the straight up lie. Uh, I can't say in the beginning of my career, um, I was just there. I wasn't necessarily climbing anything. I was there getting a paycheck. I wasn't adding to anybody. I wasn't like putting anything out in the world. I literally was just there. I think but then too, when I really reflect back on it, I think there's always been kind of like hints of where do I want to go with this and who do I want to affect by this? And that probably has changed. Like people would say, yeah, I work for the county and I'm gonna be here, until I retire. And I was just looking at them like, what? Why would you do that? Is this something that we should be striving for? Like they only pay
And,
you
and
$18.
unfortunately, that is actually what the generation before us was the last one, were the first ones to straddle that fence, because it was get a job and stay there for 30 years.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Look, I created a job for myself and I don't want to be here for 30 years. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Um, so I think like when I first started, then yeah, I had a lot of questions. Definitely wasn't trying to climb the ladder and I wasn't trying to build one either. As the tides have turned and I started looking at it from a bigger picture and then also from what was given to me, I then started to invest in other people. So as I learned, and I felt like I had a responsibility to teach other people, and so then I think I became more of a ladder builder instead of a ladder climber. You know, I started to add to people, I started to add to myself, I started to seek, information that I didn't have to get to that next step. And so, I think it was very instrumental in trying to figure out, like, I've had people along the way that has helped me figure out like how to become more of a ladder builder than just some person that's just taking in where we are, just taking in the sights and just being. What about you?
I mean, but when we look at it in terms of leadership, I mean, our businesses are in two different parts. Like, you have
Hmm.
built seven figures with multiple employees underneath you, and I've gone through waves of different contractors who worked under me to build. So I think I'm probably a lot ladder designer, trying to design the ladder,
Mm,
start building
look
it,
at
start
you.
building it.
Look at you.
Like, we need
Okay.
to be oh so wide and oh so strong on them them rings as
You
we
know what?
make our way up.
That is crazy. And I think very instrumental. Like, I didn't necessarily have the words, but I would absolutely classify you as a designer and a builder, right? You help set the, I mean, because you can't have, your ladder be a little crooked. Like, that's not
Yeah, no.
gonna really get you
Be like, long term, that's not gonna work.
right. That's not gonna work.
It's not gonna hold the weight.
So when we talk about the reproduction shift, we're talking about a leadership that is about changing from being a personal producer to equipping others. And I think as a CEO, the goal is to equip others so that then they're able to build. And if you are only creating ladder climbers, then that's a really good question that you need to start asking yourself is who in this building is here to help build and not just climb?
That is
And I
so
know,
fascinating. I literally just had this conversation right before this meeting with the client where she
really,
was talking about the building of her business. She was like, I tell people, if you're not in it to be in it, and this is just the thing you want to do because it's going to get you money, then no, you can't work with me. You can't. You cannot work with me. I'm looking for
yeah,
people who are here to do this work. And I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
yeah.
You got to be here for it. If not, if I can find you before before you get too deep into it in your little climbing mode, yeah, no, we're gonna manage you right on out.
Well,
We
here's the
have to
thing. I
because of the
mean, the
culture.
people, the people that are there just to climb the ladder is the ones that are just like, okay, well, how much you gonna pay me to do that? And well, what does that look like? Or they're not understanding the sides of business. Like, we have to have people coming in for us to like. It doesn't benefit us
They
to.
don't get that there's a ladder that has to be built and continue to go up. They like, hey, I'm on the ladder. What's my next step up? To
Right. And
help
are you
us
going
build the
like
next step up, fool. That's your job.
your job is to help us get to the next step, because if you help me get to the next step, then I can help you get to the next step. But I also
Which will
think
help
of it
other
in
people get to the next
which
step.
will help other people get to the next step. Like, we have to have a continuum of building other people and showing them how to lead, because what happens to the people that's under us? What happens to those individuals that don't know how to lead? I think people are over here talking about, what is it, Gen Z, or what
So many of them.
gen are we on? First of all, I don't know if I even subscribe to all of that. I mean, people are people. And I think, Tony Robbins said it best is there's there's what the life cycle follows all four seasons. And right now we just come out of a season of harvest, right? And we're going into that next season where we need to, where what did you
Where the tough
reap?
times build the strong people.
Right.
This
So
is what
what
we're
did you
about to go
reap up
into.
here? And yeah,
Hmm.
so now we gotten to the point where everybody is, okay, well, I'm taking this and I'm taking this, and oh my gosh, I mean, just look at COVID and what happened. Everybody was like, oh, okay, cool. I can stay home. All right, cool. You gonna pay me? All right, cool. Let me go ahead and collect this cash and let me go ahead and get all of this money. And now it's like, oh, well, the government don't have no money. Well, I mean, there's a
Oh,
reason why.
yeah. Yeah, I dealt with that with people on their taxes. Like I thought I was gonna get more. From what? You've been outside for a year. You've been able to recoup. There has been nothing holding you back. You had 2 years of prep and a whole nother year of doing something with it. You
Yeah,
wasn't ready for that. You wasn't prepared for that. You were neither building, designing, nor building your ladder. You were doing none of that. None of that. And now you have an expectation of something, and that's not how the world works.
yeah.
It's not.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing: what were you doing? That may be a good question to ask yourself. In in this whole scenario, in the past 3 years, what have you been doing to get you to this point? So, Glenn Turner says the hardest challenge of getting to the top of the ladder was getting through the crowd at the bottom. That is insane.
That's that and the visual that happens of the and of that and how that relates to the reality of what will be going on. Like, yeah, there's a whole lot going on down here. There's a whole lot, and trying to weave through
Yeah,
without being pushed or pulled into different directions or losing the motivation to keep pushing through. It's crazy, and that's one of the buckets you're gonna fall in. Either you're gonna get pushed somewhere else, pulled somewhere else, or motivated to push through to get to where you want to go.
whew. Well, how are we motivating to push through? Because, some days are harder than others. So what motivates you to push through on a day to day?
My biggest thing is clarity on my why. Like, why am I doing this? What is the underlining thing that makes it all worthwhile when you're going through the BS aspects of it versus when you have your ups part of it. And so the biggest part of it is one, I'm 100% confident I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I am in my
Hmm.
purpose. However that works out, and however I'm with other people, I think I'm doing what it is I'm supposed to be doing. So the fact that I'm confident that this is my purpose, that's a big part of it. The other part of it is the example of when you do what you love, this is how you feel. This is the life you get to have, and that aspect of it. And so for my boys, it's always been, if you're gonna do something, love it. Love it. And the best way for me to drill that in is to be the example of that. Hey,
Right.
be the example. I love what I do. As much as I can get frustrated with my clients or with whatever's going on in the industry or whatever's happening, at the end of the day, I love what I do. That's my
Yeah.
motivator.
So we
What
have
about you,
what's
ma'am?
called, oh my goodness, I was going to try to skirt that whole thing. No, just
I
playing.
thought so. I thought so. I thought so.
I do what I want when I want. That's my motivation. As long as I'm able to live my life the way that I want to live it on a day to day basis with little to no interruption, I absolutely and be happy doing it. It's what I want to do, right? If I'm frustrated today, I chose to be frustrated. I'm doing what I want to do. This comes with the territory. I think also understanding that every day is not a cakewalk. Because I think people are like, well, I'm not motivated to do it. Well, every day you don't function and operate in your motivation. Like you have to understand that the bigger goal is the goal. It's not the today. Where I want to go
Mhm.
5 to 10 years from now, where I want to be 10 to 20 years from now, let us hope and pray that I'm still doing what I want to do when I want to do it, and my kids ain't trying to put me in no home or nothing, you know. But like that's literally how I live my life. I want to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, where I
You'd be
want to
one of
do
them
it.
ones that in the home making them TikToks like them ones
Oh,
that be on there.
absolutely. I absolutely want to be in a retirement house. I absolutely want to be in a
They get
retirement
TikToks
house.
causing trouble.
Yeah, because I mean, like literally, like that is the goal. But understanding that your goal isn't always a cakewalk. It's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be like there has to be some challenges for it to be for you to get to where you're going. And so learning those challenges is where I feel people fall short because they think, oh well, I am at that first stage of ladder climbing. So how high can I go? And then they realize that they've gone, like they're at the highest and there's more to go, but not
Mhm.
realizing that at the highest and there's more to go, there's also more responsibility, there's more frustrations, there's more headaches, but there's also a lot of really good wins. There's a
A
lot of
lot of
really
it. A
good
lot of
things that, yeah, that's happening that you need to be like, oh, okay, so I guess one of the questions you can ask yourself is what are my strengths? Like
because
where does
you're
my
gonna need to
strength
rely
lie?
on those, you know. So how can I at that point, once you've gotten to that level of growth, whether it be talking about your personal life, professional life, whatever, we're talking about growth, growing you, right? So once you
Hmm.
get to that level where you're like, okay, the only way I'm going to go further is to build and have people go further with me. So where can I do best at that? So I can find someone who does best at the things I don't do well, so we can continue to build this ladder up. You
Yeah,
gotta know where you're good at. You
absolutely.
gotta know what you're good at.
I mean, that's even when you married.
Life. That's at every aspect of life.
That's marriage,
Raising
friendships,
kids.
raising kids. What are my strengths? Because I'm not always the best person to be talking to on Saturday morning. I done had a rough week. I don't want to take no kids out to the park. I don't know who you asking. But if you have a partner, like one of the things that I definitely said, because I had two kids prior to getting married and I have four right after. I was like, if nothing else, I knew how to pick a partner. I was like, because I did not, people be like, oh my God, six kids? How did you do it? I had an amazing partner, an amazing partner. He picked up where I lacked. I'm not a big feely, touchy, like I'm not that person, but he was able to kind of fill in those gaps. And so knowing and understanding your strengths when picking like the people on your team or picking those
Hmm.
individuals that are in your life to complement who you are is huge. It's huge. And then also looking at like what are the opportunities? Where can I
That's
go?
where I think that's where people get it twisted. I'm actually use that
Oh, you don't get it
that
twisted.
statement. They get it twisted in thinking that an opportunity is literally something that's being handed to you in the cute
Mm,
little on the silver platter. Here's an opportunity for you, my dear. No, sometimes it's presented to you in the form of a challenge.
mm-hmm,
Here's an opportunity for you to expand how you think, for you to ask for help when you usually don't, for you to ask questions when you usually try to figure it out by yourself.
mm-hmm.
What are and are you seeing them as opportunities, or are you looking at them as this is why I couldn't do it, this is why I can only be here, this is why. No, what do you see as the opportunities that get
Yeah,
placed in front of you in whatever form that they get placed in front of you?
yeah,
That's huge.
yeah. I mean, and
Huge.
I was just thinking really just what you were saying because in our True CEO Accelerator program, you know, we were talking to another business owner and they were stating like, oh, you know what, this week was super hard. We lost like five people, in a span of a week. And, I'm thinking about closing down my business and, and like she was like really having a really rough time. But I look at that absolutely as an opportunity. What areas do I need to grow? Is this something that happens all the time? Right? Like, how often should I be looking for this new growth opportunity? What if my business is maybe stagnant and I need to take to the next level? There are a bunch of questions to ask within that. Why are people leaving? Why are people staying? Just because those 10 people you have been with you for 13 years, you may want to ask the question, or why are they staying?
Right.
And what's going on? One, so
Yeah.
that you can replicate it again if
Mm,
need be, but also really evaluating, are you growing? Are you challenging people? Are you taking those people to the next level? Because, being comfortable, as we saw the last time, is not comfortable. That should not be a place where
exactly.
you're wanting to live. Be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to rock the boat. Well, if we never rock the boat, then how happy are you really?
Right. If you never experienced any level of adversity, how have you actually grown?
How
I
have
mean,
you grown?
let's just put it from the standpoint of like, let's the bare basics. In order to learn to walk, you had to fall on your butt.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So if you're not prepared to go through some sort of adversity, then are you truly prepared for whatever goal you have in front of you? I mean,
Ooh,
this way of thinking is across the board. Success in my health, success in my business, success at my job if I'm an employee, success in my relationships, success in everything requires you to step out of the this is how I do into okay, so maybe that's not the best way to be.
yeah.
Maybe there's a
I,
chance for me to be in another space and
I don't
experience
really like
this.
you challenging me like this. Because I immediately was like, dang, what am I doing for my health? I mean,
Wow.
a hit dog don't holler, right? Um, but it really did. Like, immediately my mind made the connection to exercise. And I remember clearly, like 4 or 5 months ago, and it literally 4 or 5 months. Don't come for me, those of you that exercise. Uh, just don't come for me. But I
Is
was
your
thinking,
camera
like,
on the other thing?
yeah,
Can people see you everywhere? Okay. I'm making
hopefully they
sure.
can see me everywhere. Uh, so I was exercising, and then like halfway through I was like, man, this hurts and I don't want to do this no more. And then, I was like, okay, Keisha, I'm gonna stop for a minute. And I don't think I went back. I didn't go back. I didn't go back. But I was just thinking about that. Like, that is crazy how, and then I started complaining about, my weight. And I was just like, and why am I having a hard time breathing walking upstairs? And so,
Hmm.
so all of those different areas, right? So how do I separate myself from just the crowd? Because I can't say, I'm hoping that I'm not all by myself, but I could be all by myself.
But that leads to the third question to ask yourself is am I taking steps every day? Am I
Right.
doing something every day? It just might be that one day is like for me, I try to remind myself, your desk stands. So how about you get up off your butt and stand up and work? Because that in itself is a little bit more movement than you were doing the other day. You might be wrapped up in something, but your desk
Hmm.
moves. Get up, do something. What am I doing every day? And what's the accountability that you have? It might be that like I remember after we had our trip into Palm Desert tonight, I told Tasha, I said, I'm gonna start doing this every day starting August 1. And I would text her every morning. I did my this. I even added this. And so that was my everyday step to do it. And if I didn't text her like, oh, so you fell off? I ain't fall off. I just had stuff to do this morning, but I did it. Unhappily, I did. But it was every
Right.
day, and that helped
But
get me into my
everybody,
groove.
yeah, and everybody thinks that you need to be happy while doing it. Nobody said that.
No, no, no.
Nobody
Every
said
trainer
that.
I've worked with, I've told them that I'm picturing hitting you in the face with this dumbbell, right?
And they
Like
probably like,
that's
you
what I'm
should.
doing.
And you should. And you should. So the
Trainer,
next,
every time we did kettlebell bell swings, come on, come close so I can see how far I'm supposed to swing this up. I think your chin is right at my marker. Come on, come closer.
so we
No, I'm gonna be
have
over here.
ladder holding, right? How high will others go with a little help? So leaders should want far more for their people than from their people. Mm, read that again. Leaders should want
Should
far
want far
more
more
for their people
for.
than from their people, right?
That's huge. That's when you know you're a leader, though. When you realize that, wow, I go further when they go further,
I
and
go
they
for
go
yeah,
further when I go further. We go
absolutely.
further as we keep going, moving forward.
Yep. And so, who's held the ladder for you?
Well, life, I've been surrounded. I have been blessed, and this is what I put into my gratitude journal every day, and it's even a part of my affirmations. I have been blessed to get amazing people in my life. I have gotten people who push me just the right way, who comfort me just the right way, who inspire me just the right way. I can do a 360 turn in my life and find somebody in all of those areas, or somebodies in all of those areas who have been some sort of a ladder holder for me, for sure. And
Wow,
I love that. That has been the thing I know that I'm truly blessed about, is I have been able to be surrounded by amazing people.
that's awesome. That is awesome.
What about
I
you, ma'am?
who's held the ladder for me? There's numerous people. I think somebody is still holding this ladder on a day-to-day basis.
God. Jesus, take the
You
wheel.
know, I said it all the time. The Lord take care of babies and fools. I don't know which one
Hmm.
I am, but
I flop
I guarantee
today.
that the ladder is being held, right? So ladder holding begins with serving attitude. With a serving attitude, it requires availability. It
Hmm.
attracts people who want to climb. It is a pre-qualifier for discovering a person's potential, and then it is over time multiplies effectiveness. So,
Hmm.
what are you going to do to help others go higher under your leadership? And I think that's a really good question because a lot of people, I don't know if they ask themselves that question enough. Is how can I help you? Like one of our slogans in the business is my goal is to teach you everything I know, so therefore you'll have the tools to be able to move forward with or without us. My goal is not to keep you here, hold you stagnant. My goal is to for you to at least when you decide to leave here that you are at minimum 10% better. That is my entire life goal is to empower 1 million people to live their life the way that they want, how they want, financially, personally, physically. Do what you want. Let's say it one time. Do what you want. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh,
God's
cause
girl
I'm
dance.
your dance. Ooh, ooh.
That's all bad. Don't follow our singing. But I mean that like literally that is my goal. So I'm gonna pose the question to our listeners is what are you going to do to help others under you go higher? And how do you plan on doing that? So, Levon, have you like thought of or have a mission to, elevate the next? I know you don't have like a huge team, right? But like what's your goal in helping others like go higher?
That is so funny. Again, I had a consultation call this morning, and there was a woman who were in networking groups together, and she said, "Okay, so there's someone who does what you do in my group. I'm supposed to be trying to give them business because that's how the groups work, but they just do not. I didn't connect to them the same way I connected with you." And what I realized is that they don't teach people in my industry what I know about behavioral styles. They don't
Mm,
teach people in my industry what I know about understanding how people process. They don't
mm-hmm,
teach that. So for the most part, my industry is very disconnected from the people that we serve. And I realized that that's something that I can give. And for the longest, I was trying to figure out, okay, is there anything I can actually give to the industry as a whole in any kind of way, shape, or form? So I realized that whoever works with me, not only do I want to help them in some kind of way see the accounting work from a different angle, but see the value of understanding the people work in what we do. There's a
mm-hmm,
lot that's going on with working with people. And if you don't understand how to connect to the people, this great work you do with the numbers is very isolating. It's very, very isolating. And that's something I want to contribute to my industry, to business as a whole. But you got to understand the people. If you are missing that component, you're missing a lot about what's going on in the
yeah.
world, Craig. The world, Craig.
So ladder extending. How high will others go with a lot of help? So intentionally and strategically mentoring them.
Keywords: intentionally and strategically mentoring.
How are you getting that person to the next level? Like what does your strategy look like in helping other people?
I don't have, I mean, mine isn't, at least for me, looking at it from how I look at that one, is more so of the, are you helping people to help them, or are you helping people to help you? And the strategies on is in that one is also making sure you're connecting to the motivators. Like what's
Mm,
the motivating aspect of it? Are you building people to push them out? Not, and when I say push out, as in, that whole mama bird kind of thing, like, hey, it's time for you to go out and try it, give it a whirl, see what happens. Or are you doing it because you want them to be loyal and stuck on you, or to show that they're, as a form of, I'm setting you up to fail, so that way people know I'm the best at what's going on. And when you strategically, with intention, support people so that they can be the best versions of themselves, I think that you'll see so much more abundance across the board in every aspect of it. Every aspect of it. But most people don't, that intentional and strategic, they don't put them together. They
right.
got this and they got this. Like, just imagine what happened if you merged them. Just imagine the beautifulness.
So
The booty.
what happens, like what's the measurement of a good mentor? Like when I think of
Oh,
a good mentor, I'm thinking of someone that, is successful. I'm thinking of someone, and I mean, and I'll stop right there because success has different measures for people. And I think, we really need to kind of sit back and kind of look at that. What is successful? Well, if they're doing the things that you want to do in your business, if they are making the moves, they are having conversations, they are, what other measures of success? It's not necessarily their own personal measure of success. It's what do you classify as success?
yeah. And I agree. I think another way of wording that one is do they have a trait or quality that you aspire to have or possess
Mm,
that gives you a desire to want to do the things that they did to get that quality or that trait?
right.
Whether it's, someone who's like, I know for me, whenever I see like certain people, the way they parent, I was like, oh, you are such a nurturing parent. Me, I told my kids rub some dirt on it when they fell during sports. It's like, if it ain't broken or bleeding, you still playing. I'm like, oh, that is so. I would love to be able to do that. Then I look at my three boys and I go, no, I wouldn't even understand it. You wouldn't even understand it if I was that nurturing. But it's
Well,
that's
no,
to me
because you
is
had taught
probably
them something else.
right. They're like, what's
You was
wrong
a
with you?
whole
You all
nother
right?
person.
Are you all right? What do you have an aneurysm or something? We gotta go to the hospital, monitor her speech, see if her face is drooping on one side. She's
They
having a
would, they
stroke.
definitely would not know what to do.
No. But
So a
it
good
is do
mentor,
they have a quality
yeah.
or trait that you want to aspire to possess?
Are they a specialist, right? Um, because that's the biggest thing. Like anytime that you're looking for a mentor, you're not looking for somebody that has the same level as you. Like I'm not looking for as someone that is on the struggle bus with me. We can't be on the
Yeah.
struggle bus together. Like I'm going to need, and when I say struggle bus together, I mean in the area that you need mentoring in.
Right. Right. You can't
You
be
know,
mentored by someone who's, that's accountability. That's a different thing. Mentoring is, yeah, okay, I found someone has a pathway that they created. I am going to literally monitor every footstep that they have taken so I can get there going. But you can't be with me like, I don't know which way they went. What you mean you don't know? You got the blind leading the blind over here.
I mean, and that's really just what's happening. They're like, oh, this person is over here and they're making, multi-million dollars, and so I'm gonna follow them. Well, yeah, you should probably ask some questions before you just start following. Because just because they
Mm.
made a multi-million dollars doesn't mean that they know how to keep multi-millions of dollars. That does not equate those two things. And if you're following someone that made multi-million dollars in one area and you're in a whole nother field, how does that cross over? So some of the
Right.
things may
Unless there's a
cross over.
particular quality or skill that they had. Maybe they were tenacious at making phone calls. Maybe they were good at connecting to the right people. But
Yep,
yeah, as you said, you got to look at it because not everyone who is ahead of you is someone you should be striving to be similar to. It's
right.
not. It's not.
Yep.
All
And
glitter ain't
maturity,
gold.
well, maturity also plays a big role in that. How mature are they?
Yeah. Not
Right?
mature
Because you
you.
can't. You can't your mentor has to be mature and they have to know where you're going and it kind of have some semblance of being able to talk you off that ledge and say that you know what you're going to be okay, get some dirt, put some dirt on it, you know you might need
This too
somebody.
shall pass. Let's go.
This too shall pass. You are okay. You are right where you need to be, right? Because asking questions, and I've seen this also, asking questions to someone that's never been where you have been is a recipe for disaster.
Hmm. Blind leading the blind. Because then if you don't get where you're supposed to be, then whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Because you
Well,
asked for the bad advice, and then you took the bad advice.
and you took it. So a good mentor is practiced, right? They practice what they preach, they show up, they are humble, they take and ask really, really good questions, right? That is a good mentor. So, which criteria do you need to give attention to develop as a mentor? And I think, a lot of people, I don't want to be nobody's mentor. Well, you are somebody's mentor
Whether you
somewhere,
know it or not.
whether you know it or not. Whether you know
Somebody's
it or
looking
not.
at your journal and your journey and using it as their guidebook, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Just like someone could be your mentor and they don't even know. Like I read every book that this person, I watched every TED talk, I watched
Yep.
everything that they've done, and that's who has helped me. And they're like, I don't even know who is you. But congratulations, I'm so happy I was able to help you. But you might have a mentor and they don't even know that they are mentoring you.
So the
They don't
next
even
step
know.
is how can I help them build their own ladder? So when we get to ladder building, it's all about giving another leader the permission, the equipment, the empowerment to create their own ladder. I was just having this conversation earlier with my one of my OBM mentors, right? We were having this conversation and we were just like, it's not a competition. She was like, if you understand anything about building, if you understand anything about mentoring, if you understand anything about being a true consultant and someone that has a love for other people, then you understand that it's not about competition. It's about collaboration. It's about how
And
can I
that could
make
be
you better?
contributed to success as the definition in general. Success is not about competing against somebody
Yeah.
at all. It's the matter of what you being the best version and supporting as many people as you can. But it's
Yeah.
not a competition in that aspect. I was watching a video where they had a chess master she was talking about five things, three or five things that she uses in chess that she thinks are great in the business world. And I had a moment where I had to disconnect from it because she kept using terms as far as your opponent, your opponent. I was like, I don't have an
Mm,
opponent. I have, and if I look at it from that standpoint, and I happen to the opponent is me. Whatever my fear, whatever it is holding me back, that's my opponent. But I don't have an opponent. It's not a competitor out there that's looking to prevent me from getting somewhere. It's more so of a standpoint of Do I know where I want to go, and do I know the resources necessary to get there? But yeah, success is not about your competition. It's about, do you what are you giving? What is it that you're producing? Because the more you help, the more people you help, the more you end up getting help, the more you
You
end up
know which
getting where
is
you
a
want to be.
really, I read a really good book, The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Oh my goodness.
I listen to that one. Him I
Yes.
can listen to. I like listening to
I
him.
love what he talks about. He was like, only people that understand the long game understand
Yeah.
business.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, it's not about the finite number. This does not have an end. As long as you start playing the infinite game, then you win in business, you win in life, you win just in general. And taking that mindset out of your head and saying, you know what, I understand that you may not feel like you have the permissions, and sometimes you do have to give someone permission. I am permission enough to be who the heck you want to be.
Look at the example.
Look at the example. You know, how else could you go wrong? But I am an example. Like, if you can't lean in on something that you don't have, find somebody that does and lean in on theirs. Like, get their equipment, get whatever they have possessed inside them. If not, stand by them and you will develop the courage. You'll develop the courage to do anything. I'll probably be pumping people up that probably should never be pumped up. But, I hope that you're going to take where I'm
But
at
you
and be
pump up
able to
enough
go.
who's supposed to be pumped up,
And
you know?
I fight for the people, right? My whole goal is to empower you to be who the heck you want to be. And if that ain't who you want to be, then stop being that person. Stop being that
Hello.
person. Figure out who it is that you want to be and be that person. I want to be Lakeisha Cobbs Hayes. I walk around like I'm Lakeisha Cobbs Hayes. Probably people probably think
That's
I'm
the
way more
one
confident
thing.
than what I actually am. But it,
And that needs to be added to the baseline of our educational system, though. People that we always, at a younger age, for some strange reason, they really harp on these extended mentors who are so far out, so far in history, or so far removed from the reality of who we are,
hmm
that we're not teaching people to realize there's traits in these people that you should be looking for in those around you, so that you can continue to attract those people around you, so that you can build. But we have people so disconnected. I want to
yeah,
be like Michael Jordan and U7. Okay, not saying that that's not a good thing to aspire to. However, who do you know that has that form of dedication right there,
right,
right now? And that you can be a part of that. What organ can you be? Start then. Maybe you should start with being a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, whatever that is for you. Hey,
yeah,
there's form of dedication. You got to show up to everything. You got to be there when you don't want to be. Where else can you learn these skills and these and get these qualities, if you don't understand what the success looks like for you, and
yeah,
two, how to find how to attract it to you. That's the important thing, is being attracted to you.
right. So we have some questions to ask before you mentor someone, right? What are the qualities you're looking for in a mentor,
Hmm.
right? Is this person hungry to learn? And how can you determine if this person is hungry? Like, what does that look like? And I would say they're doing the things that need to be done. They're doing, right? They are talking about books, right? They're talking about where they want to be. They're talking about money and what that looks like. They're
They're
talking
asking the
about,
questions for
they're
the stuff that
asking,
they don't. They're asking questions.
yes. So that's how you determine if a person is hungry to learn. They're asking good questions. And then what the other question you want to know is, what is this person's capacity?
Yep.
Mm,
Because if,
mm,
if being mentored by you means they got to be at your beck and call, or they have to be available to you to be a part of that learning process, sometimes it does require full immersion into the situation. They might not have that capability. They might
right.
not. And so before you expect someone to cross a threshold, yeah, find out what is their capacity. Can you do this? Is this something else? Can we find someone who might be a better fit who has these same qualities? Let me go into my database of people that I know who go, yeah, no, they're not going to
Mm-hmm.
require you to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning for a call. You're not a morning person, or we're on two different time zones, so that doesn't work for you. You got
Yep.
other responsibilities. You know what? But this program over here would be great because it's not competition. It's not
Yep.
competition. Me referring
Hey,
you to
and you want to
somebody is
talk
not
to me? You can
competition.
come talk to me at night. Don't talk to me at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's not
Right.
gonna be. I'm not gonna be of no benefit to you. But if you call me at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, I'm probably going to answer your call. And then you're going to be like, what are you doing up this late? This is my power hour. This is when I get my best work done. My brain is on fire between the time of 7 to midnight. I have no idea why. It is. I'm ready to go. I'm about to take over the world. Not everybody is like that.
No, they're
Not
not.
everybody is like that. So, is this person's values compatible with mine?
Boom. That right there.
And then, do you know
Values
your
are
own
core.
values? Do you know your own values? That's what I'm going to ask. Because there's a lot of people walking around here and they don't even know what they value. And you
At
want to know
all.
how they don't know what they value is because they're not living it, they're not walking it, they're not saying it, they're not repeating it, they're not doing any of those things. They don't know what they value.
And they're usually extremely unhappy because
Extremely
there's nothing,
unhappy.
they have no idea what it is that's supposed to feed them.
Mm.
So they just eating everything and they mad about it.
And is this
Wow.
individual a leader, right? Are they a leader? So if you want learners to follow directions, you only need to provide the what. If you want them to lead others and give direction, you must also have the why. And that within itself is huge. Do you have the why? Do you have why you need to do this? Do you understand that, yes, as I was talking to this young lady who was clearly distraught, she lost 5 employees. Here, let me let you know why that happens. Do you have this in place? Do you have that in place? Right? It may just be time. People may be in your life for a season, not the reason. Right? It may be time when I understand why you need to leave. I understand it's okay with me. Why? Because I want you to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And if being with me and my company and in my space is not benefiting you, you should leave. You should want
Right.
more. And if I can't give you that, let me help you get there. Let me find somebody that can help you. And if you find your own person, cool, that's easier on me. And then I look at that and say, how then can I grow? How then, what do I
Mm-hmm.
need to learn from this
What
situation?
was the lesson from this situation that I get to take on for the next one? Okay.
Yep.
Ask a couple ask different questions up front. Create making sure that it's clear the environment that we work in or that I provide. What does that look like? Clarity on the values of the organization. What's important to me? Finding out what's important to them. You learn that lesson and you put that into your new toolbox of this is how we move forward. For every step forward, they have this set of foundational boxes that need to be checked. Boom, boom, boom,
Hmm.
boom, boom. If we can't check these boxes, then we know that this is not going to be a good fit. Now we've avoided the possibility of the turnover, right?
Yep. Yep. So here's a list as we wrap up to get up out of here, that you should probably, review, write down, commit to. Uh, and becoming a better leader. And I'm saying this because this is a list that one that I use. I know for sure this is one that Levon uses. I think every great leader uses. They don't just sit there and drink their own Kool-Aid and say, you know what, I don't. There's no more for me to learn. There's always more for me to learn. I am constantly asking the question of if I'm going to develop and lead others, what is the benefit to them, not just for me? Like what do I get out of it and what do they get out of it? Because what they get out of it has to be greater than what I get out of it.
This is probably the one time where a how question is actually good. You know how you say find the who, not how? In this
Yep.
situation, how can I be the best of this? How can I find those resources? Is the right questions to ask, but this is probably the one time that a how question is a great tool to have in moving forward.
Yep.
How can I make this work? How can this benefit everyone involved? And then your whys will be able to be fermented, glued to that and
Yeah.
allow for everything to go. So yes, I love this list. Number one.
Yes. Another question to ask yourself is, do I relinquish control? Do I relinquish control and give other leaders the freedom to be themselves and develop their own process? Now,
For the
I ask this
micromanagers.
question all the time. Why? Because I think I'm very good at what I do. And it's hard for me to come out of myself to make sure that people have the freedom to be themselves and develop their own process. Uh, I have a very strong personality, and so it's hard to read, you know. But this is a question. This is one that I'm currently working on. That I can say. Do I relinquish control and give other leaders the freedom to be themselves and develop their own process? I have such a vested interest in people that I take on their issues as my issues, and it makes it really hard for me to relinquish control. And so, I had to, it's something that I'm working on. I ain't even gonna lie.
I'm work in progress, people.
Yeah.
Work in
Lavine, you can take the
progress.
next one, too. I'm
Yeah, I
stuck.
was about to say I love that one. Am I happy for a leader I help to move on without me, or to enlist other mentors? If someone has outgrown you, or they have grown to a part where they and you aren't happy about that, uh, mm,
You might want to ask some questions. Why am I not happy for this person? Like, I'm genuinely, and I mean genuinely happy for all of those people that have left me, whether they left on bad terms, good terms, or whatever. I am genuinely happy to see them succeed. I am, like I said, I'm overly invested in people sometimes. And so for me, it brings me joy to see, hey, look, they took the information, or even if they didn't take the information, they found somebody that was able to help them and get to that next stage. And I think that's the goal here. There shouldn't be animosity towards people who lead your company. There shouldn't be animosity for people that grow within an organization. You should want them to grow. If they're not growing, I have questions. I have questions. You don't belong
I
here.
mean, and you that also fits into the next one with how you operate as well. Is not only will I be happy, are you happy that they left and did what they thought was best for them? If they came back and asked a question about, hey, how do I do this? Because I decided to do this on my own, or where I'm at, this is not. How do I do that? You are more than happy to say, hey,
Yeah.
well, here's the resources that I found. You might want to take a look at this. You want to talk? We can figure out what that looks like. If you're withholding information to stop somebody else from getting to their next level, you
Why?
gotta check yourself. Yeah, check
Why?
yourself before you wreck yourself.
I mean, in our industry, that's very common, and it drives me insane. They're like, "Well, why don't you go ask a lawyer? You have the answer. You have it. Like, why are you not telling the people what it is? It's simple. Make sure you
Yeah.
do
What?
da da
Yeah,
da
but if I
da
don't
da da."
have a lawyer, they're gonna charge me $1 million because I don't even know what questions I'm supposed to be asking them, and they steadily racking up my time. When you can just say, "Ask this question," and then see if there's any particular things in your state or in your area that they wouldn't
Yeah.
understand
But
about,
they're
but it
just
fits
like,
around
no,
this.
somebody gonna come take my kids in the area. No, there's 50 million kids, 50 million plus
They're
children.
not stopping. They're not
They're not
stopping.
stopping. People not gonna not have children.
Hmm.
I mean,
They
like right
sell
now, it
pheromone
says what?
freaking cologne and stuff. People are so they're not stopping the
Well,
what's
not only
creating
that,
it.
it's like I think I saw 1 in 36 kids is diagnosed with autism. First of all, if you are stopping another person from helping another person, you gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself.
So, last but not least, am I willing to keep helping many leaders build their own ladders without expecting to receive any credit? Absolutely. Absolutely. I personally, hey, carry on
Yeah. I'm
and
not
be
looking for
fruitful.
the credit. I'm not looking for the credit. I'm looking for the excitement of whoever I'm working with in any way capacity,
Yep,
them hitting they go. I that look at that. Look how great you are doing. This is so
yep,
amazing. And I got to witness this what was going on with you. I got to witness that. That I love that. I love those moments where people where I had a conversation with them or I was
yep.
just in the room and they got a spark of genius. They're like, I can't, you help me. I was just there. I was so honored to have been there to watch it and be able to report on what happened. If you
And
get mad,
my coach was mad at me because they was just like, well, you have to give testimonials, and I was just like, I don't. First of all, unless somebody's giving it to me for free, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need to go and ask for credit. I don't need to say that I helped this person, I helped this person. There are multiple people that call me on a regular day-to-day basis, and I just, hey, here you go. Here's the information. If I have anything, I have anybody, I have any resources, I'm definitely going to send it to you. And I think that's how we need to start operating. We need to look and see how can I help the next person, because the more you help the next person, the more that all of that comes back to you. I am absolutely a believer in the universe. Like the universe is going to give you what you give, right? And if you're not giving, then how can you start to receive, and how do you feel good about receiving something that you didn't even give?
right?
So
Exactly.
whew. So last but not least, as we part today, is what areas do you need to find a mentor to help you grow with these things? Like, where do you need to find a mentor to help you grow stronger? I know for me, I use this stitch. So I have a CEO coach. And he's been amazing. I have my CEO group that's amazing. Like I definitely have and then I have Levon around me all the time. I have, I go to therapy. That's the big thing, because I'd have to deal with my own personal traumas and whatever else, so they don't leap out and jump on the next person.
Like, oh, that wasn't for you. My bad. My bad. Let me bring that on
Let
back.
me bring
Bring
that
that
back.
on back.
I have to apologize
Yeah,
for who I am
I'm
today.
with you. I have, like I said before, I have been blessed to have been surrounded by so many amazing people. So there's no area of my life where I feel like I don't have either already a mentor or access to a mentor,
Hmm.
someone that can help me with that greatness. I mean, you inspire me while scaring the hell out of me, and inspire me to greatness. Like, oh, okay, well, she did it. It can't be that difficult. Like I'm pretty sure it's doable. Like, I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't
it's
blow up or
doable.
nothing,
Yeah, she
My
didn't
fingers
die.
aren't burnt.
Yeah, she didn't die. We good. She still got her eyebrows and everything. We we can do
We
it.
absolutely can. We absolutely can. So as we close, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on here. We definitely will try to inform you when we are coming on live, but it will be more or less sporadic within the next coming weeks. We do have our Leadership Live mentorship, so if you want to join, please click the link to come on in. If you are in the Rancho Cucamonga, Southern California area, definitely just show up tomorrow night. We'll be in Rancho Cucamonga at the office. And if you sign up, you'll get the address. I ain't gonna just put it all out here. Uh,
People showing up all
so we
random.
are Tuesdays, all right? Just be like, who the heck is
Hmm.
this? So Tuesday night from 6 to 8 in Rancho Cucamonga office setting. We have at least four more slots if you are wanting to attend. If you want to do our leadership live, and we are doing via Zoom on Fridays between, is it 11? I think 11 to 1. Um, and that's going to be via Zoom. So 11 and 1 PST. I'm not converting that. I just want to let you know. Um, but we will be online, so hopefully we'll see you there. It'll be really great to see everyone. And we'll keep coming on week after week and see what we can do. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Click the link in the bio and or go follow us at True CEO podcast. Go listen to us. That way you be entertained by Sonia and Acacia, our
Acacia.
other counterparts. Hopefully one day they'll join us here. And if you just want to be a part of the True CEO Accelerator program, you can always go sign up at trueCEOLife.com.
Nice. All
Nice,
right,
we did
y'all.
it. And look at there. We barely had any interruptions. We got our sound together. We working, we doing this, we doing it. See y'all later.
Bye.
Let me